So we're starting with trigonometry, and with trigonometry, we're going to start with the right angle triangles. Okay? So when we're talking about, we're going to start with essentials, so we're going to go over things that you should know, right, coming into this class. All right? But we're going to review them quickly. So an angle of blank is an angle that falls from the horizontal, also known as the angle of declination. What do we call that angle? We have two answers here, either angle of depression or angle of elevation. Which one would it be? So it's an angle that falls from the horizontal.
Oh, the first one.
The depression,
yeah.
Right? It's at, so this is your horizontal, right? An angle that falls, so it's measured from the horizontal to the terminal arm. Call this an angle of depression. Okay? Now the angle that rises from the horizontal is called an angle of elevation. So this might be a little new to you, but we use, in math, we like to use a lot of Greek letters, okay? And the Greek letter theta is commonly used to indicate an unknown angle, okay, or the missing angle. And the theta looks like an O with a line in the middle, okay? It's called the letter theta. What do we call the triangle that has a 90-degree angle in it? Right angle. So a right angle triangle, or a right triangle, has one 90-degree angle. Okay? These triangle, or these type of triangle with a 90 degree, they're special triangles. We use special formulas for them. Any triangle that is not a right triangle is called an oblique triangle. So you have two kinds of triangles, either an oblique triangle or a right triangle. If it's not right, then it's an oblique, one or the other. Okay? If the triangle has three acute angles, then we call it an acute triangle. Okay, do you guys remember what the word acute means? So acute means, actually I do. Acute means less than 90. Okay, so acute means less than 90. So where all the angles are less than 90 degrees, all three angles in the triangle. Now in a triangle you can only have one obtuse angle. If you have any, it will be only one obtuse, because an obtuse is greater than 9. And any triangle with an obtuse angle, it's gonna be called an obtuse triangle. So, right angle triangle, right? Then you have the clear weird looking triangle, sorry, acute triangle. Because you see that all the angles are less than 90, and then you have the obtuse triangle because you have an angle that's greater than 90. Okay, so this basically answers, the answers for this I've already given to you, so I'm going to just write them here. So a right angle is 90 degrees, an acute angle is less than 90 degrees, and an obtuse angle is greater than 90 degrees. Are you guys okay with this? All right. Now, in a triangle, how many angles do I have?
180.
So they add up to 180. How many angles do I have? 3, right? I have always 3 angles, but the sum of them always, no matter what kind of triangle you have, the sum of them is 180 degrees. Now, are we okay with this so far? Okay. Ryan and you pay attention to this as well.
I'm all finished.
Just pay attention to this for a minute, and then you can go back. So in the right angle triangle, we have the 90-degree angle, and then we have 2 other angles. Okay, we have 3 sides. The side that's across from the right angle, so the side that's across from the right angle triangle, it's called the hypotenuse, and this is not going to change. The hypotenuse is going to always be across from the 90 degree. It's very important to know how to label your triangle so you can solve for it. Now, so you always can do that first. Label the hypotenuse first. Then you're going to look at which one is my angle of focus. Angle of focus is the angle of interest. So it's the angle that you're looking for or the angle that's given to you. Okay? So in this case, this is my angle of focus right here. Okay? Because that's the one that's given to me or the one I'm looking for. Now, there's 2 other sides that you have to label. You have to label the opposite and you have to label the adjacent. The opposite side is the one that's across from your angle of focus. Okay? So if this is your angle of focus, this is going to be called your opposite. Are you guys okay with this? Then I have the adjacent left, and that's going to be given to my 3rd side. Okay? First side, you're going to label the hypotenuse. Second side, you're going to label the opposite, which is the one across from your angle of focus. And the 3rd would be given to the adjacent. To the 3rd side. Okay? We can go back. So the hypotenuse is always the longest side in a right angle triangle. There's no H. So a hypotenuse is the longest side always in a right triangle. So what do we label the side that's across from the angle of focus? Opposite. And then the side that's attached to the angle of focus is called adjacent. And then the angle of focus is the angle given or to be found. Are you guys okay with this? To properly label a triangle, use small letters to represent the sides and capital letters to represent the end. Okay? Can you just eyes on the board for a minute? So I have a triangle, angle A, angle B, angle C. They're labeled in capital letters. Now, side A is going to be across from angle A. So this would be labeled as side A. Side B would be across from angle B. It's labeled with a small b. And side C would be the one across from angle C. So labeling your triangle is basically half of your hassle. After that, should be easy. If you label it correctly, you should get the right answer. Now, this is a hint for you to be able to look at your answers and say, yes, I've got the right answer. The largest side is always across from the largest angle. Okay? So if I have a triangle that, we don't have to draw this, but if I have a triangle that looks like this, which one is my largest angle? I'm going to call them A, B, C. Which one is my largest angle? A. Which one's my largest side by the look of it? Side A, right? So always, the largest angle is going to have the largest side across from it. And guess what? The smallest angle is going to have the smallest side. Okay? Now, when a question says to solve a triangle, you're going to have to find every single side and every single angle in that triangle. Okay? Some of them are going to be given to you, obviously, so you can start your question, so you can do the question. But then you have to solve every angle and every side. Okay? Are you guys okay with this? Now, what I want you to do on the calculator, I want you to make sure that your calculator is always in degree mode. If your calculator is not in degree mode, then your answers are going to be wrong. And then on your calculator, it should say DEG on the top, or D, or sometimes it doesn't say anything. Okay, as long as it's not saying something like RID or R, right? It should say DEG. G or D?
G. I changed it.
You should change it to degrees. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now, do you guys, can you locate the sine, cosine, and tan on your calculator? You see them? On top of them, there's sine inverse, cos inverse, and tan inverse. These are used to find the angle. We're going to look at examples. Now, rounding. When you're rounding your answers, you're going to round your sides to 1 decimal always, unless the question says otherwise. You're going to round the angles to a whole number, and the trig ratios to 4 decimal places. So basically, if you have tan of 60 degrees, right, and then the calculator gives you a whole list of numbers, you're just gonna put it to 4 decimal places. Okay? So this is basically things that you should know already, okay, or you should be able to. Now, the lesson starts right here. What can I use? Do you guys know what the word primary trig ratio is? Primary trig ratio.
So would that be like
Time.
height?
There's three of them. Sine, cosine, and tan. Sine, cosine, and tan, they're called the primary trigonometric ratios. Okay? So these are your three primary. If you take university levels and then you take grade 12, then you move to co-tan, or actually grade 11 you move to co-tan, co-secant, and CSC, CES, SC. Anyway, so the ones that we learned here are the three ones: cosine, sine, and tan. Okay? So primary trig ratios are used to find side length and angle measure in what kind of triangles? In the right triangles only. That's homework.
This one, right?
That should say unit 4. Okay, so in order to be able to solve for the trig ratios, or solve for the length and angle, you need to label your triangle properly. Okay? I've already talked to you about labeling your triangle. Are you guys okay with this, or do you want me to go over it one more time?
Over.
One more time?
Again.
Hypotenuse is the one that's across from your 90 degree. Always. Angle of interest or angle of focus is the one that's given to you or you're looking for. The one across from it is your opposite. And the last one is the adjacent. Now the angle of focus could be here. So what if the angle of focus is right here?
Wouldn't it still be adjacent at the bottom? Or it can be
Where's the hypotenuse? Hypotenuse is still right here, right? It doesn't change because this is my right angle triangle. Right angle.
oh, it's on this side.
Where is the opposite?
Opposite would be at the bottom.
At the bottom, because it's across from the angle of focus. And then that's going to be your adjacent. Okay? Now, I'm recording.
Shit. Okay.
Okay. Alright. Now we have two triangles here. Okay? You notice that the triangles, they both have angle 37 as the angle of focus. Okay? And then they have side 3, 5, and 4, and then the other one has side 9, 15, and 12. Now, for angle A, let's label it a triangle. So which one is the opposite, which one is the hypotenuse, and which one is the adjacent?
Okay, so 5 is the hypotenuse.
Yeah?
3 is opposite. 4 is adjacent.
Do we all agree?
Yeah. You better.
Good. Now for triangle ABC, they want you to find the opposite over the hypotenuse. So the opposite is what? 3 divided by, what's the hypotenuse? 5. And what's the answer for that?
0.6.
That's it? 0.6? Okay. Now let's do the same thing for triangle XYZ. Where's the hypotenuse?
15.
Where is the opposite? And where is the adjacent?
12.
Okay. Now we have to do the same thing. We have to find opposite over hypotenuse for angle XYZ. Opposite is 9 over hypotenuse is 50. What's the answer? Now, let's look for, on the calculator, I want you to punch sine of the angle value. So you're going to do sine 37. What do you get?
37?
Yeah. 0.6. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to complete this triangle, this table. Okay? So for the next one, you're going to find the adjacent and the hypotenuse for both triangles, the ratio of them. You're going to find cos A. Then for the next, you're going to do opposite over adjacent, and then you're going to find tan